Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you do not miss any video lesson from RAU'S.
Hello and welcome to Daily Prelims Practice, where we take up the questions from the Hindu and Indian Express and curate them as per the demands of Civil Services Prelims examination. The topic of today's discussion have been listed on your screen. The first article that has featured in the Hindu talks about Andhra Pradesh KONDA REDDI tribal families. Now UPSC previously has asked questions related to various tribal communities, their festivals, and thus are of considerable importance with regard to prelims. The practice question says, with reference to the tribal community in news, which of the following tribal communities is known for consumption of dried bamboo? Now the correct answer to the question is option D, that is KONDA REDDI tribe. Basically, KONDA REDDI tribal groups and families hang these bamboos as garlands to the roof of their dwellings and dry them. Later, these fully dried garlands are stored for the consumption till the next monsoon. People of KONDA REDDI tribe believe that bamboo shoots are highly nutritious and make them part of their diet to improve their immunity against the viral fevers. Another important thing here to understand is that the tribal people inhabiting in the forest and the hill ranges are entitled to collect every form of bamboo tree which is classified as minor forest produce. They have the right to exploit it for the commercial value for their livelihood also. Moving on to the next article that has featured in the Hindu and basically talks about the dark sky reserve that has been established in Ladakh. Now UPSC in the previous year has also asked questions under the science section related to various discoveries and projects undertaken in the field of technology as well as related to that of astronomy. So this region becomes important for us on the perspective of prelims. The practice question says, consider the following statements regarding dark sky reserve. Statement 1 is a place that has minimal light presence due to topographical interferences and hence is ideal for placing astronomical telescope. Now this statement is wrong, as a dark sky reserve is a designation which is given to a place that has minimal artificial light interference, and it is the International Dark Sky Association of United States of America that designates sites as international dark sky places, parks or sanctuaries. The second statement says that Hanley has been chosen for international telescope because cloudless skies and low atmospheric water vapor make it one of the best sites in the world for optical, infrared, sub-millimeter and millimeter wavelengths. Now this statement is correct, as Hanley is the ideal location having cloudless skies and along with that low atmospheric water vapor, thus making it best site for optical, infrared, sub-millimeter or millimeter wavelengths. Further, it will be India's first ever night sky sanctuary that will give boost to astrotourism and also promote homestays that will be equipped with telescope that visitors can use to view the night sky. Question further says, which statement given above is or are correct, and the correct code to the given question will be option B, that is 2 only. Moving on to the next article that has featured in the Indian Express basically talks about the state of Karnataka that has decided to increase the SC reservation by 2% and the ST reservation by 4%. Further, the state is also trying to pass the legislation under the 9th schedule. Now UPSC under the Polity section in the previous year has asked questions related to various schedule, as such a question was seen in the year 2022 with regard to anti-defection law or the 10th schedule and also with regard to the 9th schedule in the year 2019. Thus this region becomes important for us. The practice question says, consider the following statement about 9th schedule to the Indian Constitution. The first statement here is, it was added by constitutional amendment, that is the 24th Amendment Act 1971 through Article 31B. Now this statement is wrong, as the 9th schedule was added by the first constitutional amendment that happened in 1951 and it happened through Article 31B. Moving on to the second statement, it says that Supreme Court in the IR Coelho judgment allowed judicial review for addition in the 9th schedule done after 24th April 1973. Now this statement is correct, as Supreme Court under the IR Coelho judgment make it very clear that the legislature cannot escape the scrutiny of the doctrine of basic structure. It further elaborated that if any law in the 9th schedule was inconsistent with Part 3, then it will be liable to struck down by the court. Meaning thereby, the judiciary has the power to review for additions that are made under the 9th schedule, particularly done after 24th April 1973, on the grounds of being violative of Article 21, to be read along with Article 14 and 19. The question further says which of the statement given above is or are correct, and the correct code for the given question will be option B, that is 2 only. Moving on to the next article that has featured in the Indian Express, it talks about the RBI E-RUPEE pilot scheme. Now UPSC in the previous years has asked questions under the economic section related to money supply, and thus this region becomes important for us from the perspective of prelims. Now the practice question here says, with reference to RBI's central bank digital currency, that is CBDC, consider the following statements. The first statement here is the RBI Act 1934 has been amended to facilitate introduction of CBDC. Now this statement is correct. Going a little deeper, the RBI Act 1934 empowers the RBI to be the sole authority to issue currency notes. The Finance Bill, which was introduced in the year 2020, has introduced amendments to the Section 22 of the RBI Act 1934, and as per the new amendments, currency would include both physical and digital currency to be issued by the RBI. The second statement says, unlike currency notes, the CBDC would not be considered as legal tender in India. Now this statement is wrong, because the CBDC is a digital currency that is backed by the central bank of a country, and just like the currency note that are issued by the central bank, that is RBI, the CBDC will also be accepted as a legal tender and can be accepted for various transactions. Moving on to the third statement, it says the CBDC would be considered as assets of the RBI. Now this statement is again wrong. The fourth statement says India is not the first country in the world to issue CBDC, and this statement is correct, as countries like Tunisia, which introduced e-dinar, Venezuela, which introduced petro, China, which introduced digital yuan, are the countries that have been working on the digital currency. Further, going a little deeper in the topic, as the CBDC is backed by the central bank, hence it will enjoy more amount of stability and less volatility when compared to cryptocurrency. Further, the CBDC, just like cryptocurrency, would work on blockchain technology, and hence the details of every transaction, amounts and the accounts involved and for the purpose will be well recorded. The CBDC is also considered as programmable money, as the central bank can enable the usage of CBDC for certain selected users, either the people or only the financial institutions. The question further says which of the statement given above is or are correct, and the correct scheme of option for the given question will be option C, that is 1 and 4 are correct only. Moving to the next set of articles that has featured in the Indian Express, it talks about Competition Commission of India and its new probe against the tech giant Google. Now UPSC in the previous year has asked questions related to various constitutional and non-constitutional commissions, and such a question was also seen in year 2013. So this area under the polity section becomes important for us. The practice question says, consider the following statements regarding the Competition Commission of India. The first statement here is Competition Commission of India, or CCI, is a statutory body which is established under the Competition Act of 2002. Now this statement is correct, as Competition Commission of India is a statutory body which was established under the Competition Act 2002. Further, the Competition Act 2002 repealed the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act of 1969. it was on the recommendation of the RAU'S committee that the MRTP Act of 1969 was repealed. Further, under the Competition Act, it prohibits anti-competitive agreements, abuse of dominant position by the enterprises, and regulates combinations, that is acquisition, acquiring of control, mergers, which can cause or are likely to cause an appreciable adverse effect on competition within India. The second statement here says the chairperson can be a retired judge of High Court or one having similar qualification only. Now this statement is wrong, as the chairperson or any other member shall be a person who has been the judge of High Court or is qualified to be a judge of High Court, or also can be a person having special knowledge and professional experience which is not less than 15 years in international trade, economics, business, commerce, law, or any other matter which in the opinion of central government may be useful for the commission. The commission further consists of one chairperson and 6 members. The third statement here says the body is recommendatory in nature and does not have the power to impose penalties. Now this statement is again wrong, as the Competition Commission of India is a quasi-judicial body which gives opinion to statutory authorities and also deals with other cases. Competition Commission of India has also previously imposed penalties on organizations like BCCI in 2013. It imposed a fine on the 3 airlines in 2015 that were accused of cartelization, and also in the year 2014 when it imposed a fine of 10 million on Google. The question further says choose the correct code, and the correct code for the given question will be option D, that is only statement 1 is correct. Now coming to the last question of the day that has featured in the Indian Express and talks about finalization of a panel under KG Balakrishnan, which has been asked to submit a report in 2 years on the SC status for Dalit converts primarily among the Muslim and the Christians. Now a practice question in this regard can be framed. The practice question says, consider the following statement about the recent development. The first statement here is, government has constituted a committee to examine whether the scheduled caste status can be accorded to Dalits who have over the years converted to Sikhism or Buddhism. Now this statement is wrong, as government has constituted a committee to examine whether the scheduled caste status can be accorded to Dalits who over the years have converted to religions other than Sikhism or Buddhism. Coming to the second statement, it says, according to the Constitution Scheduled Caste Order of 1950, only those scheduled caste belonging to Hindu, Sikh or Buddhist community can be categorized as scheduled castes. Now this statement is correct, because as per the Constitution Scheduled Caste Order of 1950, only those scheduled caste belonging to Hindu, Sikh or Buddhist community can be categorized as SC. When the order was enacted, the original order only allowed for Hindi communities to be classified as SCs based on the social disabilities and the discrimination they have faced due to untouchability. The 1950 order was amended in 1956 to include the Sikh communities and was again amended in the 1990 to include Buddhist communities as scheduled caste. And it is now that the government has again constituted a committee to find out whether the SC status can be accorded to Dalits who have converted over the years to the religions other than Sikhism and Buddhism, such as Muslims or Christians. The question further says which of the statement given above is or are incorrect, and the correct code for the given question will be option A, that is 1 only, as statement 1 is incorrect. So these are the questions for the day. Stay tuned for more such updates.